and welcome to Gaia Blooming GPS. This is where we come together and pull cards, tarot and oracle, for the astro week ahead. I'm Mimi, and I'm here with Nicole.
Hi.
And we've got a big week ahead. Welcome to Sagittarius. We are in Sun in Sagittarius, and that's great. I think that's going to help us through this week because there's some big stuff. We have a full moon, we have a Saturn-Neptune square, we have Chiron going direct, so there's definitely a lot going on. And I want to mention that, through all this astro, we're starting with the moon in Taurus. Through all this astro, there is that building to the Saturn-Neptune square. So, what we say about that, that's kind of infiltrating all of everything else. So, moon in Taurus. The moon moved into Taurus today, November 23rd. And the cards I pulled, I do feel actually really relate to this full moon coming up, to the Saturn-Neptune square. Taurus energy, on one hand is about connecting into the earth, about the sensuality of the earth. But Taurus energy can also be about knowing and owning your value and your talents. And I feel like the cards that I pulled are more in relationship with that. The first card I pulled was conditioning. And so here you see this lion, and it's wearing the sheep costume. It's a very unhappy lion, being like, I'm here being a sheep, and I'm this lion. And I feel like we have this lion within. We have this part of ourselves that's roaring to come to the surface, to come be put out there, and we've withheld it. We've held the lion back. We've made it be a sheep. And so this Taurus moon is like, know your value in that lion. Know the value in the process of like going through this conditioning, but that process of breaking through, honoring your value, honoring who you are, showing up in your full capacity, which it's funny because Nicole and I just went through a process that was really about that. And in order to do that, we got to tune in, turn in. There's so much stuff. Nicole's got the card too, of course. There's so much stuff right now happening. I feel like this Saturn-Neptune thing that we're going to get into, there's so much energy around old beliefs, old truths that we have, that have held us in this sheep position. And instead, it's like, you can let those go. But you've got to tune in, and you've got to recognize them, and you've got to recognize yourself as the master, or tune into masters, either way. But recognize the master within yourself. Recognize that you don't have to believe everything that you've been told. I feel like if I believed everything that I was told my whole life, I grew up Catholic, I would not be honoring who I am. I would not be here pulling cards. I would not be an astrologer. I would not do healing work. I would probably, if I listened to all that, I would probably be married with like 1 million kids, honestly. And so we're breaking free from those old truths, and we're turning in to listen. But it's going to take here's from the goddesses, some quiet time to recognize these things in you that are desiring to bust loose, be let go of. And this is an amazing week, the full moon coming, Chiron going direct, and the Saturn-Neptune square. It's an amazing week to bust through this old stuff. But you have to be willing to be present, be grounded, like Taurus energy, be grounded in yourself. In order to let go of that, there's the sheep costume that you've been wearing. You don't have to do that anymore. The universe is like saying, step up into your next truth. Nicole?
Well, my cards are very similar to Mimi's. They're going to mirror hers very, 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 very well. And so I'm going to start with my Return of Spirit card that I picked first. And it's the shifting card. So this is telling us, you have to just be kind of patient with the process. It's not even being patient with yourself. It's being patient with what is going through you. Because it feels like this energy is moving through you. And so if it's moving through you, you're literally shifting, and there is nothing that you can do about it. So it's like, so here's the cards I got. The Sharing in Reverse card, the Beyond Illusion card, and then the Turning in reverse. And so it's like turning in is going to make it be able to process faster. But you want to go out in the world and share your gifts. It's like you can't share your gifts until you get beyond the illusion. You can't do anything until you see the illusion of what you think is real. And that's what Mimi was saying with your conditioning. It's like you were told these things, but what is real? And just because like you have a personal truth doesn't mean it's everybody's truth. But there are universal truths. So you got to see the beyond the illusion of what you are trying to make others believe and what you're trying to make yourself believe. Because there's a lot that is shifting through. And if you, I'll go in my personal kind of thing. It's like I just had a past life thing come through me. And it's like if you don't believe in that stuff and it's coming through you and you don't want to acknowledge that, you're just going to suffer. So it's like allow what wants to come through to come through. And you can believe it forever, or you can just believe it for that moment and let it help you and then let it go. Do I think, yeah, it could be that person that it was, or it's not. You know, it doesn't matter. It's just letting the archetypes that are helping you come through for that moment so you can process. And it's really just seeing beyond what we think is reality, because it's so different than you think. You know, it's thousands of years of programming, and the only way to have liberation from fear is to look beyond the illusion.
Absolutely. Totally. And so this is a huge week for this. I feel like, you know, that is Saturn. Saturn in Sagittarius is like, open your eyes, get past the illusion, the Neptune energy. And meanwhile, Neptune energy is saying to Saturn, hey, open your eyes to deeper spiritual truths than what you've learned in school. So it's like they both have their things that they're helping open each other. But there's that resistance with that square. And that resistance is what we see in ourselves as we're trying to like break through. So it's amazing. It's amazing stuff. So our next thing that we have is the full moon in Gemini. And the full moon happens in Gemini 2:44 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday. And, you know, the full moon in Gemini, full moon's always a time. I like to say the full moon is like, you know, you see the full moon in her glory. Like you see herself instead of like always hiding a little piece of this. And I think it's so potent in Gemini because Gemini has, you know, it's the twin energy. It shows us we have like the good twin, the bad twin, the light twin, the dark twin, whatever you want to look at it in that way. And so this full moon in Gemini is giving us an opportunity to look at in another way that other side, that side that we like to push away, the side that we have been suppressing. I pulled the suppression card. And you know, you can hide it all you want, but you can't. It comes up, it comes through. People see it. People see more than you know. Your energy, if you're carrying it in your energy, it gives it off. It's time to stop the suppression of it and take honest look of it. I pulled the dream card, and I actually feel like this is how you need to embrace what is coming up for you. It doesn't mean that you have to live it. Like you have these darker thoughts like, I don't like that person. I wish they weren't here. Everybody gets thoughts like that. It happens. Like it's part of our experience. You have to recognize that if you're suppressing that, if you're putting it down, you're not being honest with yourself. And so it's time to come up and look at it and look honestly. Well, where is that really coming from? That's coming from a place within me that doesn't believe that if she's getting what she wants, that I can't have what I want. We get those feelings. But until you look at it, until you stop the suppression of it and be like, okay, what are you actually showing me about what's going on in a deeper process in me? You're not going to get beyond it, and it's just going to be in your energy field. And so it's time to look at that. It's time to like get beyond the illusion that you need to be perfect. You know, it's been coming up in my mind. I wish I had looked it up and printed it out like I wanted to. The Mary Oliver Wild Geese poem. It's like you don't have to be good. You don't have to crawl in the desert for 40 miles. All you need to do is let like the soft animal of your body do and be what it wants, basically is the essence of it. I feel like that's the essence of this full moon in Gemini, saying, let yourself come out wholly, whole, recognizing it doesn't have to be perfect. And see what happens from there. And with that, I pulled the Fool. It's going to start you on a beautiful new journey. But you have to be willing to let go of the suppression and embrace and see what comes. And this is like, you know, Saturn in Sagittarius is feeding into this energy so much as well. about opening your mind to the possibilities. It's like leaping off a cliff. And I remember when I went into this process of this life, astrology and all that, you know, I went from like Catholicism and Christianity, but all these questions that I always had. And I said to God, I was like, I trust in God so much that if I'm going down the wrong path, I will be redirected. Or if I'm looking for a truth where there's not truth, like I will be shown that. And it was kind of like, you know, in school you do those science projects and you have like hypothesis, which basically you try to prove that something isn't right. That was kind of my process about this. And so take this new path. If you feel drawn, open the doors. You can always close them if it doesn't feel right. And then besides that, focused intention from Diana. Keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, actions focused on your target, and you will make your mark. And there's that Sagittarius energy that's coming right in with this full moon. What are you doing in your mind with all this, with your new path? How is your mind maybe holding you down? How is your mind lifting you up into where you want to go? There's some major energy going on this week. So keep it focused on where you're going, how you want to open up, and how you want to be true to yourself.
Yeah, it's interesting because that Gemini wants to derail you. It's like it wants to confuse you because it's like we want this and this. And Sagittarius is like stay the course. Yes, you can have both, but how can you stay the course? Like keep walking with it, with both of them. So this is what I got. This was very interesting. And so mine's the other side of the Gemini. So you know, she had one perspective, and now in true Gemini form, I'm getting a different perspective of it. And so the Gemini is really going to love this. You're not going to see the possibilities. Gemini doesn't like that. Gemini wants to see the possibilities, and so does Sagittarius, really. But that's going to be hidden from you, and this is why. I have the morality card. And the morality card is saying that you have two opposing beliefs. And because you have two opposing beliefs and you have equal importance to each one, it's confusing the crap out of you. And so if you don't know what I mean by that, it's like, let me see if I can get a good example. Like, I believe in unlimited possibilities, but then I believe in fate. Two opposing, right? So it's like if you think you have one mission and then you have unlimited possibilities, you have both of those beliefs, then they're like kind of going, well, do you believe in this right now or this? Which one is it going to be? And so it confuses the poop out of you. So if you have two belief structures that you find equally important, you have to kind of let go of both of them. I don't have it, but it's the schizophrenic card. So then underneath I have the fighting. It's like you're fighting yourself. You're fighting, and because of that, you're going to fight other people. So if you're finding yourself fighting with somebody and you're arguing with somebody, you might want to look in the mirror, because it might not be that person. It might be you being friggin' stubborn about your own beliefs. You know, it's one of those things of like, the entitlement to your belief. How many people are seeing that on Facebook right now? Right? And they're saying that this group of people are wrong or that group of people are wrong. But as they're saying it, they're doing the exact same thing they're bitching about. Right? It's like, wait a minute, you guys. And I talked about this earlier, and I'm going to use this as a big thing, but I want you to see how you're doing it in your life. It's like all Republicans are saying that all Muslims are wrong. You just said all Republicans are saying wait, you're doing this, So like, look where you're showing up for it and stop fighting yourself and just admit it. It's no big friggin' deal. Like, we don't want to admit we're wrong. Like, why? You're human beings. Just admit that you don't know everything and you're not perfect at everything, or you're not a master yet. Who cares? Okay, I'm being stubborn. I'm being an asshole. I'm being entitled. Who cares? Congratulations. Yes, you're a human being. Congratulations. You know? And so this is what this Gemini is trying, this Gemini full moon is going to bring up. And if you're fighting someone, and so here's the things that I got to help you. Receptivity. Listen. Just listen to someone else. They don't have to be right either. Who cares? They don't have to be right. Just listen. Because honestly, you're probably not right and they're probably not right. But if you really let go of your need to be right, you can listen, and that's how change happens. When you listen, yeah, okay, so Republicans are wrong. So is the Muslim, blah, blah, blah. They're both wrong. Where can we find where we can listen, where when you get inspired to change, then you open the door for them to change. But fighting each other isn't going to get you anywhere. And this goes for this week with Thanksgiving for your family. Just because it's like me sitting with Republican Fox Newsians. What am I going to do? They might bark their stuff, but what am I going to do if I bark my stuff? But if I listen and I go, you really sound like you're in pain. Like, you know what I mean? And you really listen to what's going on, there can be compassion. And so you're manifesting this. It's the manifest card. Notice that you're manifesting these opportunities to fight. Maybe because you're craving drama. And that's okay. Admit it. Who cares? Okay. We all crave drama. We're human beings. Come at it with innocence. Come at it with innocence. Look, I innocently want to hear what you have to say. I'm not judging you. Innocence. If you can listen with innocence, you might find things start to fall, to unravel itself. It was so funny, and I'm going to just bring this up really quick. I know I want to move on. But on SNL this week, they had all these people. It was like one of those commercials that they make fun of or whatever. And everybody's sitting around a table and they start arguing all their opinions, and you see them all like rolling their eyes or whatever. And then the little girl pushes the radio, and it's Adele, and they all start singing Adele together, and then it stops and they start fighting again, and then she pushes the Adele. It's like this innocent child is putting on music to put them in harmony again, right? That's the innocence of it. And so I love that, it was like the goofiest thing ever, but it's like, be innocent. And that child at the end goes, thanks, Adele. And it's like the kid knew. The kid's like, oh God, here we go again. It's like, you don't have to fight here. It's like, nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. The world's a mess. Can we all agree on that? Yeah, the world's a mess. And you're not going to have it all figured out. So there you go. I don't have it all figured out. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with Syrian refugees. I don't really know. So who cares? Nobody knows.
We're all in it together. It's crazy. It's totally crazy. And it's so feeding into the Saturn Neptune square, which happens on Thursday. Is it Thursday? Yes, on Thursday. Thanksgiving. I love it. It's the first one of 3. The next 2 will come along a little bit later in the year. But Saturn, there's so many interesting themes about this. Saturn is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the element of higher learning. It can be the philosopher. Sagittarius can be very like me about religion, be like, oh, take a little of this, a little of this. I love religion. I love spirituality. Like, I take what feels good. Or it can be very like hardcore. This is the truth. Sagittarius loves the truth. And especially when Saturn, the element of control, comes into Sagittarius, you may find yourself wanting to control what the truth is and be like, this is the truth. And so we see this happening in the world with what Nikki just said about, different people like, this is what we should do. This is what I believe. This is what I should do. And like, everybody's right. And meanwhile, here's Neptune over here. Neptune can be about illusions. It can be about escapism. But overall, it connects us to our oneness of all humanity, and it connects us to a higher level of spirituality. So like I said before, we're working with this element of truth and desiring to know this truth and to be right with this escapism and illusion and this higher spiritual knowledge. So there's amazingness going on with it. But I always say, take it back into yourself. So what we said about turning in with that full moon in Taurus, like Nicole pulled, I pulled beyond illusion. Gotta get beyond illusions of these things that you're holding on to. One of my teachers always would say, your ego would have you die before it would let you be wrong. And we will hold on to these things, marching ourselves into our death because we have to be right, instead of listening to that quieter, innocent voice within that's saying, hey, get beyond that illusion of what you've been taught. Open up to this oneness. There are better answers. But we all have to be willing to do that. We have to just let go of like that, I'm right. we all have that as a part of ourselves. It's time to let go of that. And, I pulled so many cards. It's so interesting. Like, where do I go from here? I think ultimately this. We need this. We need this square to look at our resistance, to look at, I could go on so many tangents here, to look at what we believe spiritually, to look at these truths that we hold evidence and see, like, have we forgotten that that person over the border is a human being like us? Have we forgotten that those people who are blowing people up are humans who are holding very strongly onto what they believe is right? Exactly what we are doing when we're holding on to what we believe is right. And when you have this and this, nobody wins. You don't win from that. You get this from that. And so we have to look at those things that we're holding on so tightly and get beyond the illusion. Allow it to be transformed. Allow, this transformation card, this is Kali energy to me. And I love Kali because she comes in and she, like, the traditional Kali, she's holding a head. And that to me always represents, like, you're two in your head, you're holding on to this thing. It's not true. Cut that off. That's not where that truth is. You got to cut that off. You got to be willing to transform it and be reborn into the innocence that you are. We all have this essence. We all have this innocent essence of God, spirit, universe. And we've got to tune into it. We've got to tune into it. And the process, the other cards I pulled, so many cards pulled out. I pulled isolation. It can feel isolating to have these kinds of views when everybody's like, this is the right thing. Like, there's a part of us. We want to be that sheep. We want to be with our peeps. So I'm like, I'll be the sheep. I'll be the sheep. Oh, it doesn't feel good. Because it can feel lonely to have opposing views, especially when we're in with our family around Thanksgiving. And it also can see like, okay, I see the light. And meanwhile, you see the light, you see this color. And meanwhile, other people are stuck in the black and white. They haven't moved there. And so that can feel hard too. Like, can you just see that maybe if we all just shift a little? So there's so much craziness in this, and it's going to be continuing. But as always, your process, going within, looking within, shifting within, looking at your truths and beliefs, being willing to just hear other people. You don't have to agree with them, but if you can hear them out, there's so much power in just listening, observing. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to tell them that they're wrong. But listen. And it's so funny because the goddess card that I pulled, I love this with this, is Bridget. Don't back down. Stand up for what you believe is right, which is almost like opposite of what I just said. But I don't feel like this is, because look at her. She's connecting into the light. And I feel like what you need to stand up for is the fact that truth is relative. It is always evolving, expansive. And I was going somewhere and it just popped out. It's evolving, it's expansive. And if you trust, just trust in, like, I don't know, I almost feel like trust in your goodness. Trust in the light of your heart. Oh, Nikki pulled the trust card, of course. Trust in the light of your heart and in your goodness and in your good intentions. Recognize that you have good intentions and hold the energy in that, and then let everything bloom and expand from there, flowering. I was wondering where this card would come in. Let everything bloom and expand from there. And it'll be good. But stay in your heart. Stay in the light of your heart as you listen, as we move through this, and as your truth expands. Because it's craziness. This is a lot of energy. This is such interesting Thanksgiving energy. Nicole?
Yeah, I exactly agree with what Mimi says with the heart. I mean, the don't back down energy, how she's holding her heart, is the heart doesn't have to defend itself. Mind defends itself. The heart doesn't have to defend itself. So if you sit in the light of your own heart, you just sitting there not saying anything and just listening and just feeling the beat of your heart as everybody there, something will happen. You can't back out of your heart. If you back out of your heart and you get in your ego in your head, you'll start fighting everybody, and then it'll be a mess again. And the only harmony is the harmony that lives in your heart. And your head and your heart want to fight each other. And so this is for Saturn, the Saturn-Neptune square. And Saturn is such an energy of Capricorn, of control, and Saturn and being in Sagittarius is like, this is the way we need to move forward. And then Neptune's going, well, maybe it doesn't exactly look that way. You know, maybe you don't know what it looks like. Maybe you need to connect to something deeper to know how to move forward. And maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe it doesn't make logical sense on what we have to do. Maybe it's the opposite of what everybody thinks needs to be done. Oh, really? Because Neptune has a different perspective. Neptune sees all of the planets. It has a perspective. It sees what everybody's doing. So it's like, okay, wait a minute. Saturn can't see, you know, like the Earth can't see Jupiter from that perspective and see the light at the same time. So you only have a narrow-minded perspective, but Neptune's like, I'm out here seeing everything. I see all of you guys kind of playing into it. And so because of that, we have to step back and listen to what Neptune wants to say and not hold on so much. And the only way that we can really connect to that is through the beat of our own heart. The light of the heart will show the way. So the cards I have some kind of funky like cards, but it's the same thing. I mean, as soon as Mimi was talking about trust, I pulled the trust card. That's why I was like, oh, that's funny. Because I was like, what needs to be said here? And it said trust, and Mimi was talking about trust. And I was like, so that is what needs to be said. However, this is what I got. So I got the innocent card in reverse. And when we're not in our innocence, this is what happens. We get the miser. And so when we're not in our innocence, we want to on to physical stuff, but also holding on to beliefs and just complete utter nonsense. And because of that, we have disharmony. And the only way that we're going to be able to find harmony is through connection. And, you know, it does, like, they're two separate people. I mean, there's two separate trees. They're both rooted and they're both different colors. Yeah, you know, this one sees everything in yellow and this sees everything in pink. But it doesn't make them wrong. But as they combine together, they make this beautiful orange color. And orange is the color of creation. And if we begin to create, here we go. We begin to birth. We begin to birth a new humanity, but it takes connection, and it takes you knowing what you know and standing strongly in your truth. But these trees aren't fighting. They're not defending their stance. They're just standing there beautifully, lusciously in their blossoming. They're not holding on to anything. They're just being. And as they be together, they connect together, they create something new. And then we birth a new humanity. Because honestly, I'm going to get crucified right now. The Republicans have a point. The Democrats have a point. Partisanship keeps us separated because it's us against them. But if we can find this, we may be able to find a friggin' solution. But you have to realize that they get to use the powers that be can use separation for us not being able to find our power. we'll always feel like we're fighting each other, so there's no unity. And when there's no unity, there's no solution. And when there's no solution, they still have the power. So you can choose to give your power away to people wanting you to fight, or you can realize that the only way that we can do this is through unity and through connection and through respect, through reverence, not through fighting, not through the bullshit. So then I have the sexuality card, which I think is interesting. I got with birthing and sexuality. And I got fairy magic. And fairy magic is like having fun. And so it's like you want to create a better play. You know, Mimi's got the play card. It's like if you want to create a new reality, you gotta love it. You gotta have fun in it. You gotta like make love to it, and you know what I mean. It's like I've said this before. Like if you want to make love to your life, or if you want love, make love to your life. Make love to your life. Make love to all of it. And the more you make love to your life, the more that you have a lighterness to this stuff. Because, right, it's heavy. It's fucking heavy. Excuse my language. It's heavy. It's real heavy. All that's going on, it is. The only way that you can combat that is in that innocence. And in that fairy magic. And liking and being connected, you know, have really good make love. Make love, not war.
Make love, not war, yes.
I'm a hippie. Woo! Yeah, make love, not war. Seriously. I mean, in a more grounded way than the hippies were doing it. Don't go off in that Pisces la la land and take a bunch of drugs and be like, woo, let's make it. No, let's really manifest making it love.
And we do that by taking it back into that earlier stuff that we talked about with that Gemini moon and looking at your shadow, looking at the parts where you're not making love. Look at the parts that feel hate. Don't suppress those.
Yep.
All right. So next we have Friday. My birthday. And we have 2 things happening on Friday. We'll start with the moon shifting into Cancer. I get a Cancer moon for this trip around the sun. And I pulled some interesting cards. You know, Friday in the States, it's Black Friday. Fun. And, you know, moon in Cancer, it is such an emotional moon. You know, the moon rules Cancer. So it can be a very emotional place. But funny enough, I pulled the Mind card for moon in Cancer on Friday. And I feel like, you know, our mind feeds into our emotions feed into our mind. Like they feed each other. And what might be happening with, you know, all this astro stuff, all the, you know, stuff in the world, and then put on, you know, in States, Black Friday on top of that, sometimes our security can feel at risk, our root chakra. And so you may feel like you're wanting to, like, I feel like that comes in, like the feeling of lack with those Black Friday, like the people who are running each other over to like get the greatest deals. That's coming from a place of insecurity. That's coming from a place of lack. And so your mind, with the scary stuff in the world, with what's going on, your mind may start going in that direction. But going back into what Nikki said, I pulled playfulness. So you can choose what you're going to participate in. You can participate in the way of the world, get into that hype, that lack, that security stuff, or you can participate in playfulness. You get to decide what energy are you going to feed. And it's really going to affect, you know, moon in Cancer. It's very emotional. I think it's really going to affect how you continue to process this Saturn Neptune thing. So what are you going to decide? What are you going to feed into? Are you going to feed into that way of the world that we've been kind of looking at all this week, you know, starting with that moon in Taurus, that sheep thing? Or are you going to participate in a world that you actually want to live in? And with that, I pulled Kali. Endings and beginnings. The old must be released so that the new can enter. You may have to play the role of Kali and be like, no, I'm not doing that. You know what they have on Friday? I love this. I think it's going to be all the national parks are actually free. They're encouraging, instead of going shopping, to actually go into nature. Go be one. Go be playful in the park. So cut that old shit out. You know what? There's still going to be deals. There's actually like scientific studies how there's actually days with better deals. You know, maybe support local artists or your fellow online artists. You know,
Higher reading instead.
yeah, exactly. There's many things. You don't have to feed into the consumerism. You don't have to feed into that lack stuff. There's always going to be another TV for you to buy. And really, do you want one with all the news on TV these days anyways? I'm like, I go into the living room, I'm like, turn that off. Turn that off. And my mom's like, you're always turning stuff off. I'm like, yep, that's what I do. That is the Kali in me with just a simple click.
I do love that, Mimi. I do love that because you have it. All the cards I pulled for this Cancer thing, it's like, it's just a reiteration of what we already said. I got the conditioning card, the master card. I mean, it's one of these things of like, okay, so, and then I got a new adventure, intensity, creativity. It's like, instead of going to Black Friday, make something. Seriously. Like, if you don't want to buy, if you don't even, like, I'm even saying, like, I'm going to do a deal next month for you guys to it's a buy one, get one free. So if you want to get a reading for a friend, buy one, get one free. You know what I mean? And you get one and they get one, or you can give them out. It's like, support things that you want to be supported. Support things you believe in, or make it yourself. I know a lot of my friends are like, I'm painting right now, and all my friends are getting paintings. And it's like, I have like, in the last month, seriously, 3 people have made paintings for me, friends of mine, and they're amazing. And they've painted something that I really connect with. And so it's one of those things of like, that's way more, there's way more love in that. Cook somebody a meal. Do something from your heart. Do something, you know what a really good present is? Tell somebody how you feel about them. Tell somebody how much you appreciate them. Like, from your heart. Like, not just say it, but like, you saved my life. I love you. That's way better than I'd way rather have that than giving me some shit I'm not going to use again. You know what I mean? I appreciate the gift, and I really do love things. I'm a Virgo. I like practical stuff. So, it's like somebody's hard to buy for, but I'm not hard to create for. That's the funny thing. It's like, I'm really hard to shop for, but if you really check in with your heart, I'm pretty easy to please. Just buy me oil. Like, you know what I mean? Don't buy me fancy perfume. Buy me, you know what I mean? It's like, buy me some oil. I don't care. Like, I dig that. So it's like, that's what I want you to remember on this day is like, it's just what Mimi said. And it's about being creative, and it's moving forward very quickly that way. And these are so Mimi cards to me. It's like the master, intensity, which is so Sagittarius.
Yes.
Adventure and creativity. How Mimi is that?
Welcome to my birthday. And speaking of my birthday, I'm doing up and all the way through my birthday, $11 off any reading that I'm doing, all the way through my birthday in honor of the month of November, in honor of the number 11. And it's been fun. I like doing little things like that. Like, they pop in. So, that's still available through my birthday. It's fun. And it's also good for the custom birth chart paintings, which I'm having so much fun with. All right, so next we're moving on to Chiron. Chiron moving direct. So we had Neptune move direct last week. Chiron moving direct this week in the sign of Pisces. And Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron is the area where we need to look at our wounding. Heal thyself is basically the essence of Chiron. So Chiron retrograde was taking us into some past life stuff. And Chiron in Pisces still can do that, but we're moving direct. So any lessons that you learned from any past lives that just came up, ringing any bells?
Yes, I did. Earlier.
But anything that's come up around that, we now move forward with those lessons. and how can we heal ourselves? We got into the stories. We got into the archetypes. I always say, like, you know, because some people are like, past lives, how do we know? It doesn't matter. Like, don't get in your head about whether it's true or not. If this stuff is coming through, it's a parable for you to help your life. So let it help your life. Don't let that stuff hold you back. Take the story from it, take the lesson from it, and we're moving forward with that. And so, cards I pulled, so interesting. I think the first card I'm going to pull or show is actually the fighting card. I think sometimes we do this, you know, in anything. I think Nicole can go off about this a lot more, but in everything, there is responsibility. And, you know, sometimes we can look at those past life things like, I was the victim of this. This hurt me, you hurt me, I'm the victim. And I feel like in that we're still interacting with the fighting instead of taking, what was my part in it? How can I move forward in this? Stop fighting that lesson. Recognize your part in it. Recognize any projections that may be coming up around these things. You know, you could be the victim, or you can be the responsible person and take responsibility. What was my response? What was my interaction? How was I showing up? What is my lesson in this? Take back your power in this. And I really see that with this existence card. Take back your power. Take back the power of your I am. Take back the power of, in anything that happens, there's some kind of interaction in you. So take that back and stop fighting it, because you're really going to get the lessons when you take that back, when you show up for yourself. And from that, I got the success card. This is going to help move you forward, but you've got to take it back. Stop fighting it. Stop putting the projections, he said, she said, they did. This was another life, you know, and it may be interacting in this life, but this was another life. Take back your power. Be fully invested in you, and you're part of it. And from the goddesses, I pulled Donna. High Priestess, you have divine knowledge that can help others through your spiritual teachings. We all have these connections. We all have this divine spiritual connections. We can all get in tune with these teachings. I think we all can, like, tap into our past lives. It's easier for some people. We all can. I feel like we all, when we're children, we can tap into it. We can see it. So tap in. Ask your guides. Ask that, you know, wisdom within for, what is my lesson? If you can't get there, get some help getting there. And it's going to empower yourself, and it's going to bring you into success. Nicole?
Yeah, you know, I like the past life card in the Osho deck. And the past life card on the Osho deck says that you can't tap into your past lives until you're ready, because even navigating one life is difficult enough. So if you really feel like you need to open those up, they show these rainbow lizards. And the rainbow lizards guards the gates of that kind of awareness. So I know it sounds kind of funny, but it's like, ask the rainbow lizards. If you're ready to see a past life vision, hey, guardians of the past. And guess what? I did that, I think, yesterday, because I kept pulling the past life card. So I said, all right, rainbow lizards, whatever I need to see, show me. And then sure enough, today I had this really big, like, here it is, what it was. And I had to deal with it. Because if I'm going to be a healer, I have to deal with some of my past life stuff. And so what I got, this is really interesting. I got very similar cards, but they came out differently than Mimi's, but they're saying the same thing. And I love what Mimi was talking about. And yes, I can go off on the whole victim thing, because I learned a very powerful lesson on my victim. And my whole book is about taking your power back from your victim. And yeah, yes, we have played the role in many lifetimes in this lifetime where we were the victim. But guess what? What Shakespeare said, all life's a stage. We're merely the players. Guess what? You probably played the villain too. We've played the villain, we've played the hero, we've played the victim, and guess what? We play it all out in this lifetime. And just because you can't understand in this linear dimension doesn't mean that you didn't play a part. And your logical mind might not understand that. But yes, we've been a victim. Yes, You've been the villain, and it's okay. And it doesn't make, by letting go of your victim and disempowerment because of a situation you've been in, doesn't make that person right. It doesn't make that what they did okay. But if you can allow yourself to see with the heart and with the soul, there's a totality of justice happening. You might not see the justice. Shit, what's going on in the world? We can't see the justice in that. But we don't, where are we in the story? Right? Where are we? Like, if you watched a movie in the middle, it would be very different if you watched it front to back. And if you watched it like this, it would be very different. Look at Pulp Fiction. All right. I mean, he chopped that thing up and put it all together, and it still made sense. So it's like, know that just because you're seeing just a snippet of one scene doesn't mean there's a totality on it, and that you can let go of the victim, because the victim is here to disempower you. And it's also, and take it or leave it, it's an excuse. It's an excuse. And so I have the receptivity. So you might not be receptive to hearing some of those things, and the clinging to the past. And this Chiron energy is going, you can cling to the past all you want, or you can get, just like what Mimi was showing, the Magician card. I got the Source and the Consciousness card. These are the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands. And this is really about, you can connect back to the wholeness. That Source card is wholeness. And the Consciousness card, that's Buddha nature. I mean, he's aware of everything. So it's like you have, and then I have Return of Spirit. And this is like returning back to yourself. They're returning to self. And I keep, almost, and then the Immunity card, meaning, the situation that you went through in the past, by taking responsibility for the way we respond. I love that, Mimi. The response ability, the way you responded to it, and the way you keep responding to it, by the way, we keep responding to that situation subconsciously, consciously, and unconsciously. The more that you get your power back, the more you're immune to these situations happening to you, because you no longer need that lesson. But if you stay in the victim of what happened to you, like if you're victim to an abusive situation, instead of finding the power in it, you will get another abusive relationship. So painful. So painful. Don't do that. Don't do it. I'm not saying that, if you got molested or something in this lifetime, that it's your fault. You don't know the totality of it. So the only responsibility you have now is responding to responding to it now. And the response may be, and Mimi had what was it? The teaching? What was it?
The High Priestess, the Donna, that one?
No, yeah. That's it, Donna.
Yeah.
The High Priestess is like, maybe you're here to help other people who went through that. And if you can find your power in it and healing, then how powerful will it be to look somebody in the eye and go, I unraveled that, and it no longer has the power over me. And you can show somebody how to unravel their powerlessness.
Huge.
That is why you need to unravel this. You unravel it because you have the ability, when you unravel it, to show someone else that it doesn't define them. That didn't define you, but it made you who you are and gave you strength. And you can find that strength, because I know. Because I've had to heal my victim stuff too. I know. You don't have to limit it. But you can hide behind it. Let it shield you. Or you can birth yourself out of it. Birth yourself out of it. Okay. Done.
And
And see.
I love it. All right. So from there, in that nice deep spot, we move into Moon in Leo. The moon shifts into Leo on Sunday. I think actually this is going to be a nice relief after all this stuff of this week. Because this week, you know, I said today in the post on Gaia Blooming Facebook page, I was like, you know, T-square, full moon, blah, 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 this. I wish you could just say Sagittarius and be done with it, but that's not how it is this week. So, but the Leo moon, I think, is going to be a breather. It's not moving in till later in the evening. But I pulled, the first card I pulled, awareness. I love this card because you see this guy, it's like he's burning away this adult energy. And there's this little innocence you can see in the picture. That's a little innocent face in there. And there is so much awareness in that innocence. I feel like we keep coming back into that today. You've got to break these chains. The rebel. Break the chains of what you've been told. Break the chains of how you've been told to think. Break the chains of what you think. Rebel past those. Honor this deeper, innocent awareness within. And, you know, it may feel intense. You know, breaking through, oh my God, I thought this was true. Oh my God, that may not be true. It's not just like wham, bam, overdone. I mean, I remember when I went through it, it can be uncomfortable. It can feel intense, but this is happening. We're all waking up. We're peeling off different veils that are going on. We're rebelling from where we've been taught. We don't have to be where we are. I mean, we are where we are, but you don't have to be there. You don't have to think there. So allow the Leo moon to help you process that even more. And I always like, you know, Moon in Leo and some of the cards today remind me of one of my favorite rooming poems. I feel like I say this one every week, but it's roar, lion of the heart, and tear me open. That, like, I think is the innocence, that innocent child. Roar, innocent child of the heart, and tear me open. Let me show this light that I am, this light that we are, as we are all earthlings. So we're getting into that. I also pulled the politics card. I think we put on these adult masks. You know, these masks of like, I believe this, I believe this. Do you really? I wonder, like, I wish we could see. I have a friend who's really good at pointing this out to me, but I wish we could see when bullshit comes out of our mouth. Like, it comes out like in a purple cloud. I'm like, oh, wait, that's not true and authentic to what I think. I'm putting on a mask. I'm just saying that. Be authentic and just see how it feels. And from the goddesses, you know, I think sometimes authenticity can bring up some of that root chakra stuff, some of those fears, some of those insecurities. And I pulled Sedna, and she's like, infinite supply. You're supplied for today and all your tomorrows. The universe has got your back. You are okay. It's okay. You're safe. Even if the world doesn't feel safe, you're safe. This is part of the evolving nature of your soul. You are a soul. You are safe. Your human body may go through some stuff. Your soul is safe. You are okay. Remember that. Burst free.
Burst. Well, speaking of burst, so we have a monkey burst in your bubble. All right, so this is what I'm getting. If you don't let go, if you don't let this shit go, you're going to stress yourself out and your bubble will pop. It's too much for you to handle. Don't wear the weight of the world on your shoulders. You don't have to figure out the politics of the world. You don't have to know all the answers. You don't have to know who's going to be the best president. You don't have to know what's right for your mother. You don't have to know what to do with Syrian refugees. You don't have to know how to cure cancer. You don't have to know any of that shit. What do you need to know? You need to know how to live your life. Stop worrying about other people's stuff. You know, it's like, I know somebody who like is so in politics, and I'm sorry if this offends you. I'm gonna put it out there, but I'm just telling a story. I know somebody who's like super into politics. She throws her opinion on everybody of what she thinks is right. She's also like 400 pounds. And so I'm like, before you do all that, Let's come back to the body. Your body needs you more than everybody else needs your opinion. Let's come back to you. Let's come back to you. What do you need? You're in a lot of pain. Your body's in a lot of pain. You're ignoring this. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger because you're ignoring yourself. You don't need to worry about the world's issues. Let's worry about this, baby girl. Let's look at your heart. Let's look at your body. You need nurturing. And it's okay. I'm not trying to do that condescending, but it's like, not at all. It's from deep in my heart. It's, let's take care of you, you know? And that's an extreme thing. But it's like, instead of worrying about all this stuff, where can you come back to yourself and really connect to yourself? Where can you connect? Instead of solving all the world's problems, the only thing you can do is have union in your own relationships. If you can find union and harmony within each other, the person sitting next to you, the person that lays next to you, your own mother, your own child, those are the relationships you need to heal. And when you can heal those relationships, then maybe they can heal their relationships, and then it branches like these trees, right? Come back to you. You don't have to figure out all the world's problems. Connect to the ones that you love. And the more you connect to the ones that you love, that heals it in your life. And that's what the power you have in yourself. So let go of all the stresses of the world. It's going to work itself out the way it's going to work itself out. Take care of you. Take care of your family. Take care of your heart. Take care of your body. Take care of your mind. Take care of your soul. Love yourself. And that's it. Keep it simple. Just love yourself and love the people around you. That's all you can do. Love thyself, love thy neighbor. Go to your neighbor's house and say, Happy Thanksgiving. That's it.
I
Amen.
just felt like, totally, amen. I felt like I totally had a Thug Kitchen moment. You know, they'll be like in Thug Kitchen because they have recipes. They'll be like, hummus, spread that shit everywhere. But I had it, kindness, just spread that shit everywhere. The world needs that. And so that was my amen for you.
Kindness, spread that shit. Exactly. Spread that shit everywhere. That's it. Don't worry about the world. Worry about yourself. Worry about your world. Yeah. That's all you have the power to do. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do, bitch on Facebook? How does that work?
I just feel, one of the things I said in today's horoscope, we have these energy fields from our head, from our mind, and even bigger from our heart. So, imagine if you fed into this field and walked around, interacting with others who were feeding that heart field. That's changing. We have to acknowledge this. That's part of the Neptune stuff, the unseen that is here creating our reality. So if you're feeding this, you're feeding that heart Taurus, making love to the world, making love to yourself, making love to your life. Oh my gosh. There's incredible change. You don't have to see it. You gotta feel it and let that emote. So you're muted.
Oh,
you did.
I was muted. I know the dog started barking. So, I love that. That's exactly emote. Emote your heart field. And when you're sitting in a restaurant, people are gonna get that too. Start with you. Simple, simple, simple. Don't worry about the world. Worry about you. Because it's source anyway. We are one and we are one. We are one and we are one. We are one and we are one. Remember that. You are one. You are an individual. So whatever you do is connected to the one because it is source. So it's we are one and we are one. Do your work. Do your work. That's all you can do. Do your work. Don't worry about this people's work. Do your work. That's it. That's it. And then if you're called to teach it, or you're called to hold space for someone else or allow space for someone else, then you will be. But don't worry about that shit until you got you. Until you got you got nothing.
It's true.
And that's it. you. And connection. Like you're like, if you don't know how to love your neighbor, you don't even know how to love your husband. How are you going to love the world?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't even know how to love your children.
Further to yourself. If you don't know how to love yourself, how are you going to love your neighbor? How are you going to love your husband? How are you going to love your children? You know, like you can take it even back, even that step forward or step deeper within, I guess.
Exactly. So that's what you start with. That's it. I think I feel complete on that. Definitely. Yeah. It's a big week. It's a big week, guys. And there might be some more external stuff happening out in the world. But again, then listen to this again and remember, that's where your power lives. As I do my
It's okay. We went through a big week. Change it up. Change up the hair. Well, so find us around because we're always supporting you in this process. Nicola has daily guidance. She posts it on her Facebook page. It's on her Instagram, Coaching with Nikki. It's on Gaia Blooming's Facebook page. Check us out, GaiaBlooming.com, NicoleUllman.com. Book a reading. Or custom birth chart painting, $11 off. You have to email me for the details because I don't know how to do it on PayPal. But if you email me, I will send you an invoice for $11 off. That's just through Friday, through my birthday, as a happy birthday from me to you. And like Nicole said, check out for her sale. It's coming up when she's going to do buy one reading and get another for yourself. So that's pretty cool. Or buy one reading for yourself and get another for your friend. I love that. It's so win-win. That's like helping the world. So got amazing stuff. Do you have anything else to say? Oh, it's dark. I hear you, but it's dark. Huh. Are you there?
It's funny. I'm changing it. I'm here. Can you hear me?
A little bit. Go ahead. Technology.
I'm here?
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead. Try it.
Okay, but I know I changed it up a little bit. No?
No, you're good. It's
fine. Okay, good. So yeah, I just still one free for December. Also, I'm gonna be offering 2 classes in the beginning of January, like the second week of January, and that's artist dwelling, creative spirit. I've made it my own now, so I've changed the name of the class, and also one called this is connecting to your inner guidance system, your inner light. This is a more immediate and advanced class. So if you're still in the breakdown phase, please take my artist way. I will help you really navigate all that crap coming through. And that's 12 weeks. And then my 6-week course is the return class. I've already like, what's next? What's my purpose? This is for you. But I need to screen you, so I need to make sure you're at that phase because you might think you're at that phase, but you're that's yeah. So those are what I have going on. So keep a lookout on that. I will be sending out a newsletter about it too, and for you.
excellent. Well, cool. Good things.
That's it.
So have a beautiful week. Enjoy Mimi's birthday week and Thanksgiving, and do your inner work this stuff. Do your inner stuff and love yourself. And I think that's it.
That is it. I hope you have a great week, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Namaste.
Namaste.